Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you so much for watching this video series, lecture series on how to pronounce the ayah of salawat correctly from Surah Al-Ahzab. In this lecture, we're going to learn about something called a natural mud. And we're going to go through it in different lectures just to make sure it is in a bite-sized chunk that you can take one at a time and revise and learn in your own time. You have to bear in mind this ayah is something you will recite every day for the rest of your life. So don't rush into it. Just take one thing at a time and practice, practice, practice. That's what it comes down to, really. So why are we learning about this thing called a natural mud? Again, going back to the intro, we said there are three pillars of this verse. The first one being how long do you stretch certain letters, and yeah, that's the reason why we are looking into it, because it's, in my opinion, it's one of the core three pillars of the verse. So we're going to start with the natural mud of the wow, the one over there, the wow. After this lecture, I think this is one rule which hits most of the which hits a vast majority of this verse. So inshallah, I'm hoping this will be like a big change, just like the rule of the lamb was, in terms of, if you didn't know about this, then in terms of learning tajweed. So let's look at the rule, and then inshallah we'll look at the actual real life example. All right. So what is a natural mud due to the wow? So as you're reading the Quran, if you come across a wow that is empty, basically by empty, I mean there should be nothing on top of it or below it. So there should be no fatha that gives it a wa sound, or dhamma, or a kasra, or even a sukoon sign on it. So it should be completely empty. And the letter before that should have a dhamma on it. If these two conditions are met, then in that instance, you stretch for two harakas. All right, once again, and then we'll look at a real life example. Let me just change slides. So yeah, I said the wow should not be empty. The wow should be empty. All right, there should be nothing on it. Like there should be no fatha, dhamma, kasra, or sukoon, or anything like that. It should be just by itself. That's the first condition. The second condition is that there must be a dhamma on the letter before it. If you're not sure what a dhamma is, it is this sign there which gives it an u sound. All right. When these two conditions are met, you stretch for two harakas. All right. Now, practically, let's look at where this happens in this particular verse. So I'd like you to pause the lecture right here. Read the rules, maybe rewind and understand what I've said earlier, and scan through this verse and see where these two conditions are met. And I'll give you a little hint. Actually, do it, and then I'll give you the hint if you still haven't. I pause right now. All right. I hope you found a few instances where these two conditions are met. That the wow is empty and there is a dhamma before it. There are 5 instances where this happens. If you haven't found all 5, I would again encourage you to pause and just scan through this verse and see if you can find it and come back to it. Okay, so I'll show you where those 5 instances are. Let me just bring it here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's see how that rule applies. We said the wow should be empty. Number 1, that wow is empty. There's no fatha, dhamma, or kasra associated with the wow. Cool. First rule is met. Rule number 2, we said there should be a dhamma on the letter before it. So on the ha, there is a dhamma right there. So both conditions are met of the natural mud. So what does that mean? I said we stretch for 2 harakas. So what does that mean in practice? You say wa malaikatahu. Did you notice that? It's ikatahu, katahu, katahu. I'm saying the hu for 2 harakas. So the right way to say it would be ikatahu 2 harakas. And the wrong way to say it would be ikatahu yusal. I'm saying ikatahu. Hu is just 1 haraka, which in this instance makes it wrong. The right way to say it is to stretch it for 2 harakas because this condition of a natural mud for the waw is being met. So once again, the waw should be empty like it is, and the letter before it should have a dhamma on top of it. And when that happens, you stretch that letter for 2 harakas, this one here. So you would say wa malaikatahu hu. Now, if you again don't know what a haraka is, don't worry. I've got a detailed lecture on what a haraka is. I would strongly encourage you to go back to the playlist and listen to it. All right, moving on to the next one. Yusalluna ala nabi. Yusalluna, luna, luna. And if you were to count it, it will be luna. Yusalluna ala nabi is the right way to say it. The wrong way to say it could be by just doing it for 1 haraka. For example, yusalluna ala nabi is wrong because you said salluna. Luna is almost making it 1 haraka. You want to make it 2. Salluna ala nabi. Yusalluna ala nabi. And anything, yeah, I would just stick to 2 haraka like this. And it's the same for this one as well. Amanu, amanu, manu, amanu. 2 harakas. Same thing here as what we did there. So, sallu alayhi. Sallu alayhi is the right way to say it. The wrong way to say it would be sallu alayhi. Sallu alayhi would be making it 1 haraka, which is wrong. Why? Because again, this condition is met of the natural mud for the waw. So, sallu alayhi. And the same thing here as well. Wasallimu. 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 I'm saying the mu for 2 harakas. I'm not saying it for 1 haraka incorrectly, like wasallimu taslima is wrong. So the right way I would say is wasallimu taslima. Wasallimu. Sallimu. 2 harakas. I hope that makes sense. And yeah, just to recap real quick. A natural mud happens for the waw. We're talking about the waw because it happens for alif and ya as well. In the instance of the waw must be empty just like this. And the letter before it must have a dhamma on top of it. If these 2 conditions are met, just stretch that letter for 2 harakas. The one with the dhamma on it. So, ikatahu yusalluna amanu sallu wasallimu. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much for watching this lecture. Please like, subscribe, comment, and inshallah sign up for the workbook which I'll put together after I've done through the once I'm done with the lecture series. I'll put up the link in the comments. If you find this of any use, please share this with your friends and family. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.